Look, Jeff Rath keeps talking like Alberta independence is a done deal, when in reality, he's a lawyer fronting a petition that hasn't even cleared the starting gate yet. Here are the facts. Rath is legal counsel and a co-founder of the Alberta Prosperity Project, the separatist group that helped file a citizens' initiative asking, "Do you agree that the province of Alberta shall become a sovereign country and cease to be a province in Canada?" Elections Alberta approved that question, but it's just a petition, not a referendum, and it only moves forward if they collect 177,732 valid signatures, 10% of voters from the 2023 election, within 120 days. That's not destiny, that's door-knocking in January. Every single signature has to be wet ink, witnessed by a registered canvasser checking ID, on paper sheets that Elections Alberta will audit line by line. If they miss the target or screw up the paperwork, the question dies right there, no matter how many YouTube clips Rath records about freedom. Then there's his economic fantasy. In interviews and APP material, Rath claims Albertans' disposable income will jump by 33% if they stop paying federal income tax, GST, excise and corporate tax, and just keep it all in province, citing plus or minus 10% modelling built in-house. Independent reviewers note that APP's fiscal plan has no sign of external stress testing by economists, actuaries, or ex-finance officials. No hard review of interest rates, capital flight, or what happens when you blow up equalization and federal transfers overnight. He tells First Nations they'll see their community revenues quadruple if Alberta leaves Canada and shares provincial resource revenues, while claiming Alberta will stop sending $15 billion to Quebec. The actual federal numbers show Alberta doesn't cut checks to Quebec. Ottawa collects federal tax from all provinces and runs an equalization formula where Quebec's entitlement for 2024-25 is about $13 billion, paid out of federal revenues from multiple provinces. And he's outselling this as a win for Indigenous rights in a province that is mostly covered by Treaties 6, 7 and 8. Agreements between First Nations and the Canadian Crown that Alberta cannot unilaterally rewrite or replace. First Nations leaders are already on record rejecting APP's pitch because, "Trust us, we'll quadruple your money," is not a legal substitute for constitutionally protected treaty rights and Section 35. Now, add the Trump angle. Rath boasts that he travelled to Washington as part of an APP delegation, met cabinet-level Trump aides, and that Trump has effectively given his blessing to Alberta independence, including talk of immediate recognition and a one-page zero-tariff free trade deal after a yes vote. But even he admits those conversations are confidential, and he can't name which officials supposedly promised a $500 billion credit line or instant recognition. U.S. reporting confirms the meetings happened, but not any binding commitment, because a former president's staff can't pre-commit future Congresses or courts to anything. Meanwhile, the law here at home hasn't changed. The Supreme Court's Quebec Secession reference is still the rulebook. A yes vote doesn't magically take a province out of Canada. It forces negotiations under the Constitution's amending formula, with Ottawa, other provinces, and Indigenous nations at the table. Alberta can't unilaterally cancel treaties, shred federal law, and sign a side deal with Trump like it's buying a used truck. Every step would be litigated for years, and nothing Rath says in a hotel lobby in D.C. overrides that. So strip away the cowboy hat, the podium, and the MAGA photo ops, and what's left is this: A lawyer whose group has permission to ask Albertans a question on paper if they can collect enough signatures, in a process that is fenced in on all sides by Canadian constitutional law, treaty rights, and economic reality. That's not the birth of a new country. That's a risky experiment with other people's citizenship being marketed as a sure thing, and the facts say it's anything but.